East plug meeting. For those of you who are not aware of the East plug, it's the East Phoenix Linux user group. This is going on for how many weeks now? It's not the East now?
No, it's Maricopa Pinal, the new Linux user group.
Maricopa Pinal Linux user group. And I want to thank you guys who have joined us right now. Thank you so much for coming in to join us. Tonight's topic, yes. Tonight's first topic is going to be Git. So what Git is a version control system. It's really good to be able to collaborate on projects with a group of people and to be able to keep track of all your changes, to be able to recover from changes, and then I'll go over the basics of Git, how to install it, some basic commands, a little history about it, and what it is. Okay, so what is Git? Why you should use it? What's different than other version control systems? Is there a GUI? How do I install it? How do I get started? And how do I use it? So the first thing is what it is. What Git is, it's not only just a version control system, it's a distributed version control system. It records your changes to a file or set of files over time so you can recall specific versions at a later time. Every checkout is a full backup. And it was actually written by Linus Torvalds. For those who are not aware of Linus Torvalds, he's the developer of the Linux kernel. It's a collaborative tool and it's open source. So you don't have to pay anything to be able to use Git. So why should you use Git? It creates full backups. The difference between other version control systems is that other control systems, they only keep a file list of your changes. With Git, it actually creates a full backup of all the files and directories. Speed, it's really fast. It's simple to use. It's fully distributed. So if you guys use Debian, Ubuntu, Arch, Ubuntu, there's definitely a lot of support for Git. And it's able to handle large projects. Actually, the Linux kernel development is actually controlled by Git. So the difference between other version control systems is, again, the snapshots. It creates an entire snapshot of the repository instead of just keeping a list of the files and changes that you make over the time. Nearly every operation is local. When you create a fork of a project, which I'll go over later, you can actually clone the whole project to your computer. So everything is done on your laptop, on your desktop. You don't have to be connected to the network. But let's say you're on a plane, you're on a train ride, you're somewhere that doesn't have any Wi-Fi. You don't have to connect to the network to be able to work on the project. With other version control systems, you have to have a network connectivity to connect to the central server to be able to look at the changes and download the updates. And the integrity. Everything is checksum before being stored. So Git uses different types of hash. So whenever you make a change, it'll actually hash the change. So that way if you make any changes, it'll do a hash check. So it'll recognize if there's been any changes that hasn't been saved. So if there's a GUI, there is a GUI, and the GUI that is popularly known as GitHub. You can go to github.com, which I'll be showing you in a bit. So how to install Git. So these are the commands for different distributions. So you see it's really pretty basic because it supports Debian, Ubuntu, Fedora, Gentoo, Arch Linux, OpenSUSE, FreeBSD, Solaris 11, and OpenBSD. So pretty much all the main distros. So how do you get started? The first thing to get started doing the easiest way is to go to GitHub, and you can create a user account, and it's really easy to create a user account. Who here does not have a GitHub user account? Does everybody have a GitHub user account?
Do you have one? No, I'm just kidding.
You don't have a GitHub user account? Okay, so let's go ahead and create an account. I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to create an account. So the first thing you would do is pick a username. And it'll tell you right away if it's already
That's very cool.
available. And with GitHub, there's free version of GitHub and also the version you pay for. The difference is that, let's say if you want to have your repository private where nobody else can view it, you do have to pay a monthly service to have it hosted on their server. If you choose to go with the free option, then you don't have to pay.
But you don't actually need to use Git.
Right, you don't have to use GitHub. If you have somebody that actually has their own server that can host the project, you don't have to use GitHub.
There's a console.
So right here. So just hit nope. Okay, so right here you see how they have different plans. So there's a lot of like pretty much the plans are closed. There's a lot of like corporate HR businesses that want to host a project. They don't have their own servers and they rather just pay on a monthly service. You'll see the plans right here. It pretty much shows how many repos you want to host. So there's 5, 10, 20, and 50. And you see the difference in the increments and the dollar amount in the plans. So if you want to do, if you don't want no prior repos, you don't mind it being open source or anybody can do it, you can go with the free option. So choose the free option. I think it's already chosen for it. It's already highlighted. So in this one, you can just click on Finish Sign Up. And you're done. That's all it takes to be able to create an account. And then, so let's go back to the slideshow. I'll show you guys later what it is to be able to copy, clone a repository, and how to fork a repository. Okay.
Can you just double click in the middle?
Okay, let me go back to the first one.
You want to do a slideshow?
Let me do a slideshow. Slideshow.
Maybe a slideshow?
Is it on here or no? The top one?
Yeah, the very top.
Oh, I see. There we go. Okay, so you guys saw how easy it is to create your user account. So when you create your user account online, to be able to get to work on your, to be able to work on it locally from terminal, you would set your username with these commands here: git config, global option, and then you put username and you put your name. So that would put you would put the username exactly how you put it into your GitHub account, and then you would also configure your email. And then we have the options to either create your own repository or just fork a current repository, or to clone a repository. So if you go back, let's go back to GitHub. Going back to the Linux kernel, so let's search for the Linux kernel. Okay, Torvalds Linux. So this is Linus Torvalds' repository for the Linux kernel. So let's say I want to be able to contribute, be able to copy this and make my own fork. What you can do is, you can either clone it exactly how it is, or you can make your own fork. The difference between cloning this repository and doing a fork, with the fork, you're able to copy all the information as it is right now, and you have your own repository on your computer. And that way you can push your changes to your fork, and it'll host it on the server, and that way you can create pull requests to be able to sync the changes into the main repository, which I'll also go over later. So let's say we want to clone just this one right here. So let's say, actually it's signed on under her username, so let me log out. Let's sign out. Sign in. So I'm doing this. Let me ask, who currently works actively with Git or GitHub? Okay, what kind of projects are you guys working on right now with Git?
We use it for issues. And then another project I'm on, it's called the Linux Documentation Project. They just recently switched over to GitHub. So anything you do, any kind of edits, you use Git. That's why I'm here. I want to learn more for that. But I also work on that Respin project for the lugs. With the lugs, with you and him.
When do you have personal time?
That is my personal time. That's why I make sure the people I work with are awesome. Because I don't want to waste my time if they're not.
Okay, so right now I'm creating a fork of the Linux kernel development.
delicious.
Okay, so that's doing that. Okay, so she puts it right here. Okay. See, so what it's doing right now pretty much is copying over the main repository of Linus, and it's going to actually copy all the same information, and I'm going to have my own repository, just exactly how it was as of right now. So going back to the slides. So that was when it finishes downloading. I'll show you guys how to clone it locally to your computer. And I want to go over with Git. Once you start working with Git, what's good about Git is Git actually has stages of files of how you make your changes. So when you make a change, let's say we download a repository, all the files are going to be tracked. So you see how this says untracked, unmodified, modified, and staged. There's actually more stages as well, because there's also when you commit a change. So when you see here, let's say you create your own repository on your computer, none of the files are going to be tracked. It's going to be untracked. And then once you start making changes, it'll change from unmodified to modified, and then you can go ahead and add it to be staged. And then from being staged, you'll be able to commit. And I'll show you guys the commands to kind of get an understanding what it means to be staged and what it means to be committed. Okay, so once you have the repository locally on your computer and you're working from a terminal, there's some basic commands that you will use. So let's say if you're working on a project with a team and you haven't worked on it for a couple of days, but you know that they've already uploaded changes to it, to be able to sync with the repository, all you have to do is type in a git pull. When you do a git pull, it'll go ahead and download all the changes, and it'll go ahead and update your local repository to be exactly how it terminates on the project. And then once you start working and making changes, to stage it before you commit, you have to add it. Because you can go ahead and just make changes to your files, but you don't have to actually commit them to be actually uploaded to the main repository. So to be able to add your files, you can either do a git add, name of the file, you can specify what files you want to add to be committed. Or if you want to just do all the files in your current directory, you can just use a period for the current directory. And once you have your files staged, you can be able to commit them to get them ready to be uploaded to the main repository. So you do a git commit all. And once you do a git commit all, you're going to get your editor's going to pop up and it's going to ask you to enter some comments. And I would say that's a really important thing of adding your comments, because if you don't add your comments, other users are not going to know what changed with that new commit. So definitely be detailed as much as you can with your comments. And then once you also, when you make a fork, whenever you push those changes, because again, the way I made my fork is I'm actually copying the main repository for the Linux kernel. So see, as of right now, it's already done. So as of right now, this is my repository. So any changes that I make on this, it's only going to be under my username, so it's not going to affect the main kernel development. So now it's saying, okay, now I want to put this on my own laptop. So what I would do is I would clone it. When you see here, it says clone. So copy to clipboard. So you can copy the URL. So you open up the terminal. So the way that I did it is I just created a directory called Git, and here I have my current projects, which is, so I just created a test project where I was going to use the commands, respin, and then a respin fork. Because the reason why I have two for respin, with this respin, this is the main repository, and then I created a fork, meaning that I have another user that would go into, and I'll be able to work on that, so that way I'm not affecting the main project. That's why I created two. So now I want to be able to clone the one that I just created of the Linux kernel development. So I'll type in git clone. I'll just see how much I can get through it. That's exactly what I was thinking. You saw how long it took, but let's see how
Well, that was
just for
from
an example.
GitHub to GitHub. That was
Right,
on their
right.
own server.
That's true. So let's see what it is
This
right
will
now.
take hours.
Okay. Well, I'll do it just to kind of give you an example, and I'll just I'll kill that process. So let's see here. Okay. So what it's going to do, it's going to go ahead and just create the repository. And you see right here, what are we getting right now? We're getting 1.2 megabytes per second. So I'm not too sure how big the repository is. I'm pretty sure it's really big. Is it
185? It says right there.
285? Where is it right here? Wait, is it right here? That's it's total right here. There we go. Yeah, right here. Okay.
So yeah.
So yeah, 2%. So yeah, so this one's definitely gonna take a long time.
It's about 2 gigs, right?
Right. But if you're just, hooked up in your actual LAN, this will be a lot faster. But even with this Wi-Fi, I mean, yeah, it's gonna take me a while. Yeah.
No question, because you mentioned, well, we have an option of create make a copy of the existing project and fork it.
Right.
Okay. Now we're talking about making a clone of the forked version, I suppose.
Right.
So under what scenario, what are the use cases for these 3 different approaches of essentially getting a copy to start with?
Okay, the reason why I'm cloning it is because if you notice, it's here, I forked it, but I don't have anything on my computer. So I have to log into GitHub, I have to have network connectivity to be able to work on the project.
So when you fork it, it's still repository on the remote server.
It's on the GitHub remote server. The difference
So
is
cloning it, essentially getting the content of this forked version, move it over to your own computer.
exactly right. Well, that's what cloning does, right? When you're forking it, what you do when you're forking it is that if you look right here, it says fork from Starbucks Linux. So what it is that when I fork it, any changes I make is only going to be to my repository. Now this is a copy of his, but it's considered mine at this point. You can see how it says Chalupa/Linux. So that means this is a copy of his, but it's to my own, pretty much just like my own repository on their servers.
So I think I might be able to help.
It's awesome.
So the reason why he's doing that is he essentially just created a dev environment. So when he makes changes, he can upload it to his own,
fork.
and then if he likes it, he can't just put it on Linus's. He has to create, and he'll get to that. But to get on Linus's, he's going to have to do a pull request, and then Linus will check it all out. If he likes it, then he'll pull it over to the main one. But basically, he's created a dev environment.
So that's why I'm cloning it now, because when you clone it, that's when you're actually making a copy locally to your system. So let's see, where is it at? 11%. But even with the Wi-Fi right now, it is still pretty fast as far as there was no lag and actually you to run the command and start downloading.
So what is the use case for using create a copy a existing project rather than clone one?
So let's say that if we were all here working on the same project, okay? So we would all have our own GitHub. You would have your username, you mean your own repositories, and then that would be your own. So then we would have one master one. So like in this case, Linus's his is the master one. So the difference is because when you have all of them together, you want to be able to work in your own, so you're not affecting the main node. So you will make the changes to your own repository, and then at the end you're going to create something called a pull request. And with the pull request, what it is that you're going to request for the main person, the main developer, to go ahead and incorporate your changes into the master one. And then the reason why you're cloning it is the fact, again, because you don't have to be connected to a network to be able to work on the project. With other version control systems, you have to be able to connect to the server that's hosting the main project to be able to make changes, to be able to work on it. So in this case, once it's done downloading, like if I go back here, like as of right now, I'm SSH into my server at home. So let me open up another journal here. So here, see now I have the Linux. See how that wasn't there before. So I'm going to have that directory. I have Respin and Respin 4. So Respin is a project we're working on. I'll give you a little bit of a quick, a brief description on that. What Respin is Respin, let's say it's able to clone. Have you guys heard of just the term respinning? Like when you have your own distribution, you make changes to it. Like let's say you add packages, remove default packages, you change the default desktop environment, and then when you respin it, what it is it's going to take an exact copy of that current distribution, and you'll have a copy on the live USB or live CD, and you'll be able to distribute it that way. And it creates an ISO of your current distribution on your system. So if you go into, so you see how now it's an actual directory on your system. So if I go into respin here, so you see here, it's going to show you the list of dead files that we're working on right now. So I'll show you some commands and you can kind of see how it works. So let's say I want to add a file. So let's add a test file. So let's go ahead and let's create just a test file. Okay, so now I added a test file. So if I go to get status, what get status shows you is what files you have as far as, remember going back to having an untracked file, having a stage file, having a committed file. When you do a get status, it's going to show you on here. It's going to show you that I have untracked files. So meaning I have a test file. Because why not? I just created the file, I haven't tracked it yet. When you do a get add, I start tracking your file. What that means is, if I was to create a test file and I start working on my other files and I do a commit, it's not going to make changes to the test file. It's not going to record any changes to the test file. It's not tracking it at all. So let's say I want to start tracking that file. When I start making changes to it, I want to do a history on it. So I do a get add, and do a test file. So let's do a get status. Okay, so see now the difference is before it told me I had untracked files. Now that I added it to be tracked, it tells me that I have a file that hasn't been committed yet. So it says new file, test file. So now I want to be able to commit the file and be able to go ahead and create a pull request, be able to push it to the master, recommend some changes. So you would just do a git commit. And you can specify the name of the file. But let's say I worked on multiple files, I lost track of which ones I worked on, you can just do a git commit all. That's what the -A option is, git commit all. Okay, so it's going to ask me, so now this is where my editor pulls up. It's going to ask you to make a comment of what changes you made. So here, you're going to just make your comment. So I'll put here, added test file. And you can also change the editor. Right now I'm using Vim, but you can actually change it to use like, is it Get It, Nano. You can just change your environment table, your environment variable to be able to change what editor you want to use by default.
Like Emacs?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Emacs.
Joe?
Okay.
Kate.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever got so many desserts I've got without Emacs, so I can't insult it too much.
Okay. So now I went ahead and committed and added my comment. And now it says your branch is ahead of our origin master by one commit. What that means is that the main master repository, it means that I'm ahead of it. So it means I have changes that are not in the main repository. And so then there's nothing else to commit. The one thing I want to show you is the git log. To be able to view your changes and you want to see what changes have been made recently, you just have a git log. And git log will show me here, it'll show me the hash of the commit, because again, every time you do a commit, it hashes the file. So it says here, it says like merge branch master GitHub. It says I removed the test file, I added the test file, and you need to scroll down, and it'll show you all the changes. I believe it's changes, it goes from oldest to most recent. Let's see here. Actually, no, most recent to oldest. But you see here, like right here, I believe Mike, he did some changes. So over here, like we added Marsha's deb, so it's adding Marsha's new rebuild deb 1.0.8. When I did a pull request, I'll show you what that is. When you're doing merges, it'll show you a request number and from who made the change, Repsol, which is Mike, and then what he did. So he added Marsha's new rebuild deb. So let's say now I want to be able to push it to the master one. I can just do a git push. Now I want to show you something really quick.
So how come you have the privilege of doing the push to the master? The master, I would think the admin or main program have control. They don't want everyone to be able to push whatever changes they have.
You're not actually pushing a change, you're just
Well, cause yeah, right, cause this one,
actually you're just making a request.
So
cause in this one, no, cause this one I'm actually pushing. I'm not requesting yet because actually I did it in the master repository, which I should have done it from my other one that I forward, cause I'll show you the difference in that one as well. So if I go into remaster, this is the original name that we used. We have since changed the project name to Respin. So if you see here, look at the files that I have in right here. So I only have README and I have these files here. Okay, you don't see a test file in there yet. So to be able to push my test file to this repository on the GitHub server, I do a git push. See, just like that, I push it to the master. See, that was quick. So then I go here and I refresh it. Here's my test file right here. See, that was quick. You just do a git push and it pushes it there. And that was only because, like you said, I have the privileges to do that. Because I'm the one that is actually hosting the main project.
He is the master.
Oh, okay.
We voted him as king.
Okay, so I'll show you another
That's
scenario.
because you made the fork.
So I created another user. Maybe we shouldn't have said I have like here, and it's called an organization. And this is my other user here.
Ah.
Okay. So if I go back into, so you see here, there's no test file yet. So I'll go into the terminal. Let me go back and check on the Linux development. Okay, it's still going, it's still going. Okay. I think it's kind of a better example, especially because we're on this network here. I mean, if you're at home, see, we're only getting 1.68 megabytes per second, but if you're at home,
Gigabytes.
megabytes. Right. So it would be a lot faster. Because I mean, as of right now, it's not even downloading from the network anymore. What it is doing is pretty much processing all the information to be able to create the repository. Okay, so going back to this one. Okay, so you see how this one was just my directory is Respin, that's the master. So I can go back and I can change it into the fork that I made. So I can show you what's the difference between working with the fork and working with the master. Okay, so this is my Respin fork. So if you look at how the directory is, this is an exact copy of what's currently on it. There are 2 exact copies. And just to confirm that, I can do a git pull. Because again, whenever there's changes, you want to do a git pull to be able to download the changes. It's going to tell me already up to date. If there were changes made, it'll show you the process of what is downloading. So, okay, so let's go ahead and add another test file.
Git pull is something like SVN update.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I added my test file.
Or CVS update.
Yes, okay.
And now I want to be able to track the file. So I'm going to do a git add. So I'm going to specify what file
I
we're
think
going to
pull
add.
is better. Update kind of confuses me sometimes. When you look at the arrow, okay, going up, you're like, oh, actually going down, update is coming down from the central repository. Commit is going up. So.
I'm putting my comment. I added a test file. Okay. So again, as of right now, so if you see here my directory, there is a test file here, but on the actual GitHub server, there is no test file. So I'm going to go ahead and push this. Okay. So now if I do a refresh, here's my test file here, okay? So now, let's say it wasn't just a test file I added. Let's say I made some changes to an actual package, to the actual code, the source code, and I want to go ahead and recommend my change to the master project. So I would do something called a pull request. And when you're doing a pull request, you're going to go ahead and you're going to recommend the changes to the master developer, and they're going to go ahead and review your change. And then if they agree on on the change, they're going to go ahead and merge it into the master one. Meaning they're going to go ahead and incorporate it in. So here,
I'm not going to be saying this merge conflicts.
exactly right. With the merge conflict, what a lot of times what it is that let's say both of us are working on a project at the same time. Again, when I go ahead and just push my change and say I update mine, since you're not, remember how it says when I did the commit, it said that that I was ahead of the master. So what it means is that a lot of times when you go ahead and do a commit, especially when you're doing a commit to the master, you have to be your repositories have to be synced. They have to be exactly the same. So sometimes when you're making a lot of changes, you're not committing and you're not updating your changes. When you go to actually push your change, you might get a git commit issue because of the fact that they're not synced together. And that's what we were having in the beginning, right? Because we weren't pushing and pulling, like you have to do it right. Pretty much whenever you start working on a project, and I would say whenever you go to work on it, always do a git pull. Is that what you would recommend to make sure you sync?
Depends how you work, but it's wise to do a git pull if you haven't done, and you haven't made any changes to your own project that a git pull would destroy.
And I'll show you guys also just more visually stuff with GitHub. Okay. So here is my change. So you see how pretty much it says, a one change file. So it's showing that the file that added, and you see how it's in green. So that means what has been added. If I deleted stuff, it'll actually be in red, and it'll show you what was deleted.
Minus instead of plus.
Yeah, a minus, exactly. Okay. So it's already, remember when I went into to add my comments, it says added a test file. So I can just create the pull request, and what that's going to do, it's going to go ahead and send a message. Let's see, okay, well, the reason why it says we can't only merge it is because probably I didn't do a pull. So there's probably something that changed on the master one, which I did.
I think you already had it on the test
That's
string.
as well.
So now you're going to have a merge
Because your name is exactly the same. That's the reason why. Yeah, there's exactly that reason because of the fact that your name is the same.
I think I do that a lot. Merge conflict.
So the question is, what happens here? You can't even do the pull request?
What happens was it didn't do it like automatically with the pull request. So if I go back to the master one, so let's see. In 1 second here.
Go to the
Actually, you know what
Above
is
that,
in
right
there?
here.
That's the
Right
front.
there.
Let me go to this one. I'm getting confused with which one I'm working in. Okay, so let's go into my repository here. Okay, so actually I should do the pull request from this one. But just to change that, let's go ahead and it's best if I go ahead and change the name of the file.
Well, but my question is this though: if let's say you do that, this happens, right? Where
Right.
you both create a new source file. It won't even let you do the pull request. Like it's the onus is on you then to resolve that conflict.
Let me see here, because it's the fact that I believe on that one, let me see, because I was doing it from the main, I was trying to pull request for myself,
Right.
but let's say now I'm technically another user. So let's do it from another user. Let's do a pull request,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I do a new pull request, say I add a test file. Okay. Okay, so this is one change file, one addition. So now let's go back to the other one, the main one. Okay, so see that it says pull request, and then you also have issue. The issues are actually something else. It's not like the actual conflicts, it's something different. Okay, so you see here it says now there's a pull request. It says added a test file. And it was actually opened by myself, so I can go into it. See how it says there's one open and there's 18 closed? So I can go into it, and I can view here. Let's see here. I can view here what was the changes made. I can make comments. Like he's saying, let's say if there was a conflict, I need to change the name of the file. I can put in a comment to go ahead and change the name of the file.
So that's you as the master telling
Telling myself right now
telling
to
the
change it.
person who put the request, right?
Exactly, right. So
But-
that way, see, I didn't merge it. Let's say, because the fact is that I want them to make a change. So you see how I can just add a comment,
Yeah.
and then I can tell them, please, change this, please update this.
So does then the person who did the pull request,
They're gonna be able to view on
do they
this.
change it on that item that's actually in transit, or do they just commit something different?
No, they can actually change that one. They can still make changes to this one.
Yeah.
You can still make changes to your commits. And you see here, like, let's say I just didn't like what the person did. I don't agree with them. I don't want to commit to them. So I can just say, I didn't like it. And you can just go ahead and just close it and comment. So that way that person will, let's say if I recommend some changes, they'll be able to view it on their end. And that's one thing I like about GitHub is the fact that going back to being able to collaborate with the team, you can go and as a GUI, it's really good to be able to communicate with each other, make comments to changes, stuff like that, and be able to collaborate. Because like here we have issues. So let me go back to our issues. We had a conversation on here.
I'm being a master.
I know, I'll fix my issues later. I'll show you how to fix it. Okay. So going back to here, issues. So issues aren't really like commit conflicts. Issues, you make your issue. Let's say we're having an issue with a splash page. So you can go in here, and we need to use a splash image. So you can assign this to somebody that's actually working on the project with you. Like let's say, I know I have somebody that's really good at making splash pages, Marcia, so I can assign it to her. See,
I liked Mike's
assigning, no
splash
assign me.
page
You
better.
can either assign it to yourself, or I believe you can assign it to someone.
Can I assign it back to Mike, or am I just stuck with that assignment?
Okay, so let's go ahead and assign it to Mike.
That's hypnotizing, that little cat.
Let's see if not updates it. It says no one. Let's see here. Now the network is slow.
So the issue that essentially are tickets.
Yeah,
Tasks.
yes, pretty much, yes, exactly. So like when we're working on something and this is broken, or this could be improvements, features, possible, functionality changes or whatever. Yeah, we put them all up there. And you can label them, and you can change the labels and create your own labels as well. Yeah, so it can be bug, feature.
So in your work,
Enhancement.
you use Git on a regular basis.
No, we were using it for more of at my work for a QA environment type. Just a issue tracker, because we didn't really have a bug tracker that was efficient for everyone to collaborate and get into.
So going back to disconnecting our offline
Sorry.
network. All right. So
Oh,
you know what?
I'm still up, so it might be something on your computer.
Yeah, booted for downloading porn.
they were like, he's trying to download the kernel. He's forking the kernel. We gotta stop him.
Pernicious activity on that.
Linus
Uh-huh.
just took over your computer. It's gonna reboot and come up in Windows.
Let's see.
Oh, jeez.
What's this guy?
No, he'll be better for it.
Hey, I got a message from you saying that you added a test file.
Yeah, it's because he's using.
Because he's
our-
using ours. Okay. So the notifications are working.
So you guys are working together on an open source project?
Yeah, so basically there was an abandoned project called Remastersys that we took on. Like you said, it could be used to spin out distros.
When he's done, you can. Go
Oh,
up and get
you
him.
could. You're more of an extrovert than myself. He can.
Okay, so let's see. No, it's still disconnected. So scan out. It's not good.
It's just a voluntary effort?
Oh yeah. It's just a small project
You
that we're
probably
working
need
on
the internet
together.
anymore.
And
You
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah, because I remember I put it on my server.
we're open to other people if they're interested in the project to join in.
What type of language?
It's some Python for the front end, but Bash, right? Just Bash.
Oh yeah.
pretty good.
It's a good old show.
And then when I copied it, I was actually working on my server at home. So right now it's on my server and not on the laptop. So I'm out there, which is a bad example because that's the whole point of being a Git clone is to have it on your laptop. You can have it locally, you can change it, you don't have to have it there.
But actually, that's what I do. I clone it to my server at home, and when I log into my home from my laptop, and then that's my central place. So I don't have it on my laptop. Because if somebody steals your laptop and they got all your code.
Your hotspot.
All right.
Well, once they get your code anyway, I mean, how do you modify your code if you don't got clone?
Python.
Oh, I have a clone on my server at home. No,
It's no C?
it's
No, no.
Yeah.
It's Python is the GUI.
But yeah, you're right. If
Right,
I
and
don't
then
have
it's
it,
actually it works fine in the
It's
as a
not also
command
defeating
line
the purpose
of
of
not
doing the
just
clone
a
to your actual laptop.
backup
Yeah.
tool. It also does backups, full backups of your system. That's one of the
all right.
things that we like about it. And some people they have different reasons for working on the project, right? And I like the fact that you can back up your entire machine, make an image of it, and you can just move it to another machine if you want to upgrade. If you want to just and distro-wise, I think it's very useful. Say someone wants to just do education, put Moodle on there and LAMP, hand them a USB. There you go. Just put that in. It's all set up for you. You just gotta connect with the database. Set up your database and stuff, right?
Same password, right?
So I mean, it depending on what you want to do. I mean, it seems the possibilities are there, right? For it to be very
So
useful.
that was my mistake. Instead of copying directly to my laptop, I did it to my home server. The reason for that is I'm limited on space on my laptop right now. I don't know how big it was going to be. Let's see. But going back to the commands.
There you go. I'm gonna pull down 2 gigs through my phone.
We have 4 minutes left. You have unlimited data, don't you, Mike?
So going back to the commands, see, these are just the basic commands. I mean, there's a lot more commands for Git, but these are just the basic ones where you want to actually start working with it. So to sync from the master repository, you do a git pull to be able to pull all the changes and be up to date. When you want to be able to track your files and after you create the file, you do a git add. You can either do the name of the file or you can just do the period for the current directory. To commit your changes, you do a git commit and then the option for all. And that's when it'll ask you to add your comment. And here. This is one reason that git push. Like let's say if you do have the rights to be able to push to the master one, when you do a git push, it's only pushing to that repository that you copied your fork. To be able to push it to the master one, you would do a git push upstream master. To view the changes, you can just do a git log. The thing is with Git, when you're ever deleting files or changing names of files, you don't just do a RM for remove. You want to do a git RM because that's going to do is going to tell Git that you're deleting that file, so it's going to actually update Git with that change. Same thing when you're changing the name of a file, you do a git delete. Well, that's it, you guys.
Oh, phew.
There's a lot more. I mean,
We only have 3 minutes left.
it's basic.
How you